This is the Epic of Gilgamesh, the standard Babylonian version of Sin Leki Unini, his Sha Nakba Imuru, He Who Saw the Deep, translated into English by Andrew George. Tablet 5. They stood there, marveling at the forest, gazing at the lofty cedars, gazing at forest entrance. Where Humbaba came and went, there was a track. The path was straight, and the way well trodden. They saw the mountain of cedar, seat of gods and goddesses' throne. On the face of the mountain the cedar proffered its abundance. Its shade was sweet and full of delight. Thick tangled was the thorn, the forest a shrouding canopy. Cedar, Baluku trees. At once the dirks, and from the scabbards the axes were smeared. Hatchet and dirk in one, they stole into Humbaba. Gilgamesh opened his mouth to speak, saying to Enkidu, "What, my friend?" "For Enlil." Enkidu opened his mouth to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, "My friend, Humbaba, 1-to-1, 2 garments, however, even a glassy slope, 2, climbing can conquer, 2, a 3-ply rope is not easily broken. Even a mighty lion, 2 cubs can overcome." "We have come to a place where a man shouldn't go. Let us set our weapons at the gate of Humbaba," Enkidu declared to his friend. "A tempest onslaught is ferocious, Humbaba. Like the god of the storm, he will trample us down." Humbaba opened his mouth to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, "Let fools take counsel, Gilgamesh, with the rude and brutish. Why have you come here into my presence? Come, Enkidu, you spawn of fish who knew no father, hatchling of terrapin and turtle who sucked no mother's milk. In your youth I watched you, but near you I went not. Would your have filled my belly? Now in treachery you bring before me Gilgamesh, and stand there Enkidu like a warlike stranger. I will slit the throat and the gullet of Gilgamesh. I will feed his flesh to the locust bird, the ravening eagle and vulture." Gilgamesh opened his mouth to speak, saying to Enkidu, "My friend, Humbaba's features have changed. Though boldly we came up to his lair to defeat him, yet my heart will not quickly." Enkidu opened his mouth to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, "Why, my friend, do you speak like a weakling? With your spineless words you make me despondent. Now, my friend, but one is our task. The copper is already pouring into the mold. To stoke the furnace for an hour, 2, the coals for an hour, To send the deluge is to crack the whip. Don't draw back, don't make a retreat. Make your blow mighty. He smote the ground and faced him head on. At the heels of their feet the earth burst asunder. They shattered as they whirled. Mount Sirion and Lebanon. Black became the clouds of white, raining down on them death like a mist. Shamash roused against Humbaba. The mighty gale winds, south wind, north wind, east wind, and west wind, blast, counterblast, typhoon, hurricane, and tempest, devil wind, frost wind, gale, and tornado. There rose 13 winds, and the face of Humbaba darkened. He could not charge forward, he could not kick backwards. The weapons of Gilgamesh then reached Humbaba. In a plea for his life, said Humbaba to Gilgamesh,
"You are so young, Gilgamesh, your mother just bore you, but indeed you are the offspring of wild cow Ninsun. By Shamash's command, the mountains you flattened, O offshoot sprung from Uruk's midst, Gilgamesh the king. Gilgamesh, a dead man cannot. Alive for his lord. Spare my life, O Gilgamesh. Let me dwell here for you in the forest of cedar, trees as many as you command. I will guard you, Myrtle. Timber to be the pride of your palace.
Enkidu opened his mouth to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, Do not listen, my friend, to Humbaba's words. Ignore his supplications. Humbaba opened his mouth to speak, saying to Enkidu,
You are experienced in the ways of the forest, the ways. Also, you know all the arts of speech. I should have picked you up and hanged you from a sapling as the way into the forest. I should have fed your flesh to the locust bird, ravening eagle and vulture. Now, Enkidu, my release lies with you. Tell Gilgamesh to spare me my life.
Enkidu opened his mouth to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, My friend, Humbaba who guards the forest of cedar. Finish him, slay him, do away with his power. Humbaba who guards the forest of cedar. Finish him, slay him, do away with his power. Before Enlil the foremost hears what we do, the great gods will take against us in anger. Enlil in Nippur, Shamash in Larsa. Establish forever a fame that endures, how Gilgamesh slew ferocious Humbaba. Humbaba heard what Enkidu was saying. He lifted his head and Humbaba opened his mouth to speak, saying to Enkidu,
You sit before him like a shepherd. Now his hireling doing his bidding. Now, Enkidu, my release lies with you. Tell Gilgamesh to spare me my life.
Enkidu opened his mouth to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, My friend, Humbaba who guards the forest of cedar, finish him, slay him, do away with his power, before Enlil the foremost hears what we do. The great gods will take against us in anger, Enlil in Nippur, Shamash in Larsa. Establish forever a fame that endures, how Gilgamesh slew ferocious Humbaba. Humbaba heard, and bitterly cursed them. May the pair of them not grow old beside Gilgamesh's friend. None shall bury Enkidu. Enkidu opened his mouth to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, My friend, I speak to you, but you do not hear me. While the curses, let those curses return to his mouth. Gilgamesh heard the words of his friend. He drew forth the dirk at his side. Gilgamesh smote him in the neck, Enkidu, while he pulled out the lungs. Springing up, from the head he took the tusks as booty. Rain in plenty fell on the mountain. In plenty fell on the mountain. A different version of the slaying of Humbaba and his minions, but better preserved, is given in an old Babylonian tablet from Ishkali. Said Gilgamesh to him, to Enkidu, Now, my friend, we must impose our victory. The auras slip away in the thicket, the auras slip away, their radiance grows dim. Said Enkidu to him, to Gilgamesh, My friend, catch a bird and where go its chicks? Let us look for the auras later, as the chicks run here and there in the thicket. Smite him again, slay his servant alongside him. Gilgamesh heard the word of his companion. He took up his axe in his hand, he drew forth the dirk from his belt. Gilgamesh smote him in the neck. His friend Enkidu gave encouragement. He fell. The ravines did run with his blood. Humbaba the guardian he smote to the ground, for 2 leagues afar. With him he slew the woods, he slew the ogre, the forest's guardian, at whose yell were sundered the peaks of Sirion and Lebanon. The mountains did quake, all the hillsides did tremble. He slew the ogre, the cedar's guardian, the broken. As soon as he had slain all 7 of the auras, the war net of 2 talents weight, and the dirk of 8, a load of 10 talents he took up, he went down to trample the forest. He discovered the secret abode of the gods, Gilgamesh felling the trees, Enkidu choosing the timber. Tablet 5 resumes. Enkidu opened his mouth to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, My friend, we have felled a lofty cedar, whose top thrusts up to the sky. I will make a door 6 rods in height, 2 rods in breadth, 1 cubit in thickness, whose pole and pivots, top and bottom, will be all of a piece. At this point, Tablet 5 is badly damaged, and a better preserved version of this episode is known from an old Babylonian tablet of unknown provenance, now in Baghdad. He went trampling through the forest of cedar. He discovered the secret abode of the gods. The wild-born knew how to give counsel. He said to his friend, By your strength alone you slew the guardian. What can bring you dishonor? Lay low the forest of cedar. Seek out for me a lofty cedar, whose crown is high as the heavens. I will make a door of a reed's length's breadth. Let it not have a pivot, let it travel in the door jamb. Its side will be a cubit, a reed length its breadth. Let no stranger draw near it, let a god have love for it. To the house of Enlil the Euphrates shall bear it. Let the folk of Nippur rejoice over it. Let the god Enlil delight in it. And the text of Tablet 5 resumes for the final 3 lines. They bound together a raft. They laid the cedar on it. Enkidu was helmsman. And Gilgamesh carried the head of Humbaba.